Should the Charlotte Hornets trade LaMelo Ball for Ja Morant? We're barely into November and we're getting questions and trade rumors and everything circling around like that. We know the relationship between Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies is pretty broken. What does that mean for every other NBA team, including the Hornets? Speculation on which NBA team will emerge as the favorite to land him if the Grizzlies opt to move him? Yeah, that's happening. Somehow, some way, LaMelo Ball swapped for Ja Morant ended up on my timeline, so I have to talk about it, right? Let's get right into it. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button if you're here and comment below with your thoughts. If you're on audio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, go ahead, shoot that 5-star review my way. Really helps the podcast in general. That's only if you think I'm a 5-star, if I'm worth it. So getting back to it. So with this hypothetical situation, theoretically, the math works. So if this was even going to happen, you could swap the two guards. I think the cap difference is about $1.5 million. Morant has 2 years left on his deal. He's making like $39 million. You might get first apron hard capped, but I'm not getting into that because this is really confusing for everyone, not only myself. So a simple swap. Let's just pretend that happened. So it begs the question: is Ja Morant even better than LaMelo Ball? I don't think so. Ball is the better pure passer. He has elite vision, great touch on passes. I mean, we've seen all the half-court lobs. Morant's a good distributor. He could even be in the same tier, but I still think he's a notch down. Then you look at who's better at scoring. I think a few years ago you could say Ja because he was such an explosive finisher at the rim and very effective inside the arc. You know, think like Derrick Rose in his prime, Russell Westbrook, stuff like that. I mean, he was very exciting to watch, but I think over the years that ability has diminished. So, you know, his efficiency has been going down for years. I mean, you could argue LaMelo Ball is not the most efficient scorer either, but I don't think he's a tier below Ja in that department, especially when you factor in that Ball is way better three-point shooter than Ja. So, okay, you could either call that spade is spade, they're in the same tier, or Ball is even better. Okay, LaMelo Ball's the better rebounder. He's got the better size. Who's the better defender? I would say maybe that's still up for debate. I think Melo has come a long way from earlier years on defense. This time 3 or 4 years ago, I could probably get a bucket on LaMelo, but seriously, he was pretty bad probably a few years ago. I think he's grown and developed in that department over the years. So, you know, I think when you factor all that together, you come to a conclusion. You're sitting there like, okay, on the court, I'm probably still leaning LaMelo, right? Right? What about off the court? Where do you think I'm leaning as well there? Exactly. You know, I highly doubt the Charlotte Hornets want to take that baggage on. He loves playing with guns, you know, and you add in the fact that he stated he lost the joy of playing basketball currently. And you come to the conclusion that this doesn't make a lot of sense for the Hornets. Okay, so let's try another scenario. Let's say we want to add Ja Morant alongside LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller and company. You know, Ja Morant catching lobs from LaMelo Ball sounds awesome, but like, how do you make that work? Like, just financially, structurally, you know, maybe you send Miles Bridges off, Colin Sexton on an expiring contract, a first-round pick or two. Like, is that enough? It's probably not. Probably not, depending on what the Grizzlies actually value Ja right now. It all depends on how the league views him, too. I don't know. Would you even do that offer? Would you be willing to give up Colin Sexton? I mean, I'd be willing to give up Miles Bridges, but we just got Colin Sexton. And he's playing well for us. And then you give up some first-round pick, maybe a second or two. I first of all, Ja and LaMelo, they love to play with the ball in their hands. They're playmakers. So can they coexist basically? They would be electric in transition together in this offensive system. So maybe there's a scenario where both of them could play some more off ball and it would work. But I'd be a little cautiously optimistic about that dynamic duo. And the price is already way too high, and the Hornets are still missing pieces to truly go all in. Um, I would say the only pros or arguments for Morant coming to Charlotte is, they would both get fresh starts. I don't think LaMelo really needs one right now, but Ja obviously does. He probably needs to go somewhere. So yeah, maybe he shapes up in Charlotte. You get a guard who has experience in the playoffs and get into the playoffs, period. So they've been able to compete in the West with that team. Or maybe you're like, hey, LaMelo's ankle injury, he's had a couple sprains on that thing. Maybe this is going to be a chronic thing for the rest of his career and they want to move on. I still don't think that's the case. But maybe with this impingement injury coming back up, I'm just trying to think of hypotheticals here because I don't know why this would ever happen. I'm a big LaMelo Ball fan. I'm sure a lot of Hornets fans are too. But I know a lot of people are Ja Morant fans, so it's fun to talk about. I just don't see this happening with the Hornets. I think this team is way better with LaMelo on the court. Stats back that up. Hasn't been on the court, and you could tell things are missing from this offense. But I think introducing Ja Morant, you take on a lot of risks when got to build a whole new offensive system around him, kind of with a second-year head coach, while giving up a lot of assets and players. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm on the no train for should the Charlotte Hornets trade LaMelo Ball for Ja Morant. Had to talk about this Blockbuster trade rumor discussion. I think it's one of the wildest trade ideas floating around. But it's good conversation, just to see what chaos could have brewed. Because, we've seen chaotic trades happen lately. I think last year when the Illuminati gave the Mavericks Cooper Flag after trading Luka Doncic away. So a lot of things can happen. I just don't think Ja would be a better fit next to Brandon Miller. I don't even know. Yeah, Memphis would benefit from this trade, but I don't know if Charlotte would. So, I'm on the no train. Do not trade LaMelo Ball. Let's keep building what we have here. A lot of exciting rookies this year. Let's keep it a buck. That's going to be it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to the Sixth Hornet podcast. We are live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Take care, everyone.